Hey guys, welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Leonard, and today is going to be a very special unboxing, to me at least, because I've been waiting for this watch for so long. I think I've been waiting for it for a few months now, and I finally got my hands on the Tudor Black Bay 58. So I have a very interesting story to share with you guys about my first luxury watch purchase experience, the experience that I went through in order to get my hands on this Tudor Black Bay 58. So I just want to run through a quick unboxing right now so you guys know what's inside the box and what to expect. I won't really go into a very in-depth review of the Tudor Black Bay 58. I think it's been done to death already. So maybe I'll just share a little bit on my thoughts about the watch, and then I'll move on to my experience getting my hands on my very first luxury watch. Okay, so the Tudor Black Bay 58, they will come in this outer white sleeve, which houses the main Tudor box. This is the first black box, which reveals this like I would consider this material like some sort of like leathery rubber kind of feel, but I'm not too sure what this is. So it's pretty decent, and inside the watch will come displayed on a cushion as such. Okay, so this is, sorry about the dust, sorry about the sound as well. This is my Tudor Black Bay 58, and I just love the way it looks. So let's put this one side for now. Underneath here, you'll have your guarantee booklet as well as a user manual. So the watch also has to come with a guarantee card. Hang on a moment, let me see where. Okay, mine, the card usually just comes with the booklets, but my AD gave me this card holder. I'm not sure whether this is supposed to come standard with all Tudor Black Bay 58s, but I've noticed people who are selling this particular watch used. Some of them had it, some of them don't. For example, the hang tag, I don't have the hang tag. I did request the AD to leave it for me, but the AD explained that the hang tag was used for the inventory purposes, so I wasn't able to retain that. But that's fine. I mean, I don't intend to flip this watch for the foreseeable future. Okay, so over here you have a compartment which the AD explained to me it used to contain an extra strap. I believe the older Black Bays, they came with extra straps, but Tudor has stopped doing that, so I just use it to store my spare links. All right, so in terms of the quality of the box, I do feel it could be a bit better. It's a little bit underwhelming, this experience. I mean, if you look at the Omega box, oh, that wooden piano finish, with that slowly closing, like with, the box looks like it has some suspension built in so that the lid will slowly close and not slam shut. I think Tudor could put in and invest a little bit more in that, and I'm quite disappointed that they left out the extra straps. I don't think it really costs much for them to do that. So that's something I hope they bring back in their future models. But one good thing that Tudor has done is that they have extended the warranty. They have extended the warranty from I believe it was 2 years to 5 years for every new purchase from January 2020, I believe. So any new Tudor watch that you buy now, so sorry about that. I'm so clumsy, I keep bumping into things. Let's just put this one side. Any new watch that you buy now, any new Tudor watch that you buy now will come with a 5-year warranty. And I believe from 1st July 2018, they extend the warranty for those pieces to a total of 3.5 years. So, at least they didn't leave their old customers in the lurch. All right, so moving on to this watch. This is just a super gorgeous watch. I'm still so in love with it. I totally do not regret my purchase. I believe that in this, for the money, this is one of the best watches that you can get. And the everything to me is exactly what I look for in a watch. If you recall from my previous video on the Steinhardt Ocean 139, I chose that watch to really understand how this watch will wear on my wrist, and I realized that I'm really starting to love the smaller watches. I believe my next watch purchase, unless it's to make a statement, something like the Zelos Hammerhead, I'll be going for 40 millimeters at most. I really like this size. So sorry, I just clearing my throat. So as you can see, it really wears very well. My wrist is 6 3/4 inches. And because it's such a small watch, it doesn't, flop around on your wrist very easily. It stays pretty much centered throughout the day, and that's something that is a pet peeve of mine. I really hate it when watches they flop around. So for the bigger watches, I always tend to make sure I have a very thick strap, or I'll use those MN Erica original style parachute elastic straps. I think those work best with thick watches and big watches. So the Tudor Black Bay 58, I, what is really something that is super appealing in the flesh. It is a very photogenic watch, but in real life, in person, even people who do not know anything about watches will will admit that this is really very striking, and it does look very premium. It does look like it's a very expensive watch. Don't get me wrong, it is an expensive watch, but it looks like it's way more expensive than it actually is. So what is so amazing about it? The movement. This has a in-house movement which the older Black Bays had as well. But in order to maintain the 70-hour power reserve, the older Black Bays had a very thick case. So this watch it was very surprising a couple of years back in Bezel World that they were able to squeeze that 70-hour power reserve movement into such a slim case, because it was a huge complaint about the older Black Bays. And I did try it on in stores. As you can see on my wrist, it wears fine, but the older Black Bay just fit so much thicker and so much bigger than the Black Bay 58. So this Black Bay 58 in terms of dimensions is perfect. The movement wise, I tested the 70-hour power reserve as well, and I got 69 hours out of it. So it's pretty much spot on, because I didn't wind it to full. I just wore it, and I left it there for 69 hours before the watch totally died on me. In terms of the accuracy, this watch is COSC rated, so it's supposed to be very accurate, and I get an average of -1 second a day. I hope it would. I would prefer it to be +1, but I can't complain. -1 second a day is like 30 days. I only need to really adjust it to the minute every 2 months. So that is really, really good accuracy, and it's consistent accuracy. On the wrist, in the box, the watch still maintains that -1 second at most -2 seconds a day. And I think consistency is key when you're talking about mechanical watches, because everyone has a different way of life. Everyone is moves their wrists in different manners, and lets it sit in different manners throughout the day. If you're at the office, you'll let it sit on the side like this, or maybe on the keyboard. So consistency is very important when it comes to these high-end watches, and that is what you're paying for, right? So the riveted bracelet, okay, this is a very hugely debated topic. Some people absolutely hate this rivet style bracelet. I like it, because it's something unique. Every other dive watch has a simple oyster, a 3-link oyster bracelet. At least this does something different. These rivets at the side, they don't do anything, but then again, a lot of this watch doesn't do anything as well. I mean, the color scheme, why must you have this red triangle over here? It doesn't do anything. Why must you have the case shape this way? You can just you cut off the lugs like the Oris Aquis. It'll be even more comfortable. So a lot of things in terms of watchmaking, in terms of luxury watches, they do it for the looks, and you have to admit that even in expensive cars, they also do it for the looks. So I think having this riveted bracelet, it really adds on to that vintage feel of this watch, and I have no complaints whatsoever. The only thing that I would like to see added is that instead of having the micro adjust holes, they could have, on the fly adjustment, something like the sub or something like the Omega Seamaster clasp, where you can just adjust it on the fly without the need of tools. But then again, there are a lot of other expensive watches that do worse in this regard. The Aquaterra bracelet, the Speedmaster bracelet, they also don't have quick adjust, and they cost even more than this watch. So I think I don't really complain about that. I found a good fit. It's a very small watch, it's a very light watch, so you're not going to really have any issues with it being too loose as compared to the larger watches. So to me, that's fine. Okay, so now I think I really got most of that out of the way, because every other thing that you know about the Black Bay you can find online has been done to death. So I shall speak a little bit more about my experience buying this Black Bay 58. So actually it started not at this piece, but I decided to go for a used Black Bay 58. The reason why is because I scoured the whole country. I'm from Singapore, so we have ADs we have many ADs across the island, and the island is such a small island, you can just pop by every single AD. So that's what I did. I went to every single AD to look for this watch, and no one had it in stock. Most of them just gave me a smirk. They didn't even want to offer to take my name on the waiting list, because they mentioned that they only see 1 or 2 pieces of this watch each month. And it could be on the leather bracelet, it could be on the NATO strap, and I wanted it on the bracelet. So it was pretty much impossible for me to get a hold of this watch brand new. So what happened was, after a few months of waiting and without any calls, I decided to go and get myself a second-hand Black Bay 58. So what I did was I went to buy one second-hand, used, and at the shop, the watch looked perfect. Sometimes you go into these shops and their lighting is so bright, it's really a bit distracting. So this is also a lesson to me, and I'm hoping that it's a lesson to you. When you inspect the watch, don't be fooled by the lighting. Make sure that you are really looking at everything in detail. Sometimes it looks better in certain lighting, so if you're particular about small elements, please keep that in mind. So what happened with my used Black Bay 58? There was a little bit of paint coming off on this bezel at the black area. So not a big issue. I took a Sharpie and I colored it in, I filled it in, and it didn't bug me after that. But after wearing that watch for a few days, I realized that the bracelet was refinished. It was brushed over. And it's not that I have a huge problem with refinished bracelets, but this watch is relatively new. It only came out in 2018, and being my first luxury watch, I really wanted to enjoy the finishing of the watch. I really wanted to enjoy everything that it had to, the manufacturer has to offer. So I realized that it was rebrushed, and the brushing was not straight as well. So that really bugged me. I was so upset about it. I took this watch, I took that watch, I put it on the NATO strap. I kept complaining to my wife day in, day out that, this watch is not the same, it's not what I thought it was, blah, 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 until she got so sick of me whining. And one day I got the call from one of the ADs who said, hey, your watch is coming next month. Would you like to still purchase it? So immediately I jumped at the opportunity. I sold that watch at a little bit of a loss, a couple of $100 loss, and I eventually got this watch from that AD. So it's a bit of a waste of money, but since I'm spending so much on a watch, I believe that I really have to fully enjoy it and not be upset over the small things that stand out to me. Some people wouldn't mind, some people would mind, but for me, if I'm spending this much money, I really want it to be perfect. Any scratches that I put on it, I want to be the one to do that. All right, so let me just leave you guys with the bezel action, because this watch has amazing bezel action. is a 60 click bezel, and I believe it's, you know, they achieved this feel, this bezel action by utilizing ball bearings. So I'm not sure how they do it. It's not that cheapo metal click ring, but this is really so satisfying to move. And when the bezel reaches 12, it's slightly more difficult to turn. So this is something that you can look out for if you're buying used as well, because the replica Black Bay 58, I'm aware of how it looks, and it really looks very amazing. You may not be able to tell them apart, but if you're able to have the watch in your hand, always, you know, spin the bezel around. The replicas will never be able to replicate this bezel action. Even if they manage to do a 60 click bezel, it will not have that extra stiffness at the 12 o'clock marker. That is something that is not easy to employ. So keep that in mind if you're buying used. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this showcase of the Tudor Black Bay 58, and I'll see you on the next one.